I'm at Pearson right now. This plane just went down. A Delta airplane just went down.
Well, there's lots of video of this incident, and there, of course, you can see smoke rising from the Delta Airlines plane that had crashed and had flipped over on the runway. As far Al Nasser shot that video, he saw the crash, filmed the incident from a parking lot across the street, and he joins us now from Mississauga, Ontario. Rarely, as far, do we get a chance to talk to eyewitnesses that not only were near the incident, but also had a really close eye on it, as you did. You are a plane spotter. Describe for us exactly what you saw.
Yeah, it was just a completely surreal experience. You know, I've been an aviation enthusiast for over a decade, and you know, today just being a day off, I went to the airport and just kind of like wanted to just kind of, you know, hang out there for a bit. And I'm just, you know, in my car and just you know, looking at all these planes landing, just kind of a business as usual, you know. And then I saw the Delta land perfectly normally, and next thing I know, it's all of a sudden, like literally maybe a second before touching down, it just kind of, you know, tipped a little bit, and then I'm like, oh geez, why is it tipping so much, right? And then all of a sudden it just landed on one of the engines, and the next thing I knew, it was on fire, and then this crazy amount of smoke, and you know, it's just a really surreal experience. And I was just in shock, and I was like, you know, did I just see what I just saw, right? So yeah, it was just unbelievable. I never thought I would experience something like this with my own eyes at Pearson.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to various airports, including here in Vancouver, watching planes take off and land, and I can't imagine what it would be like to have an incident like this happen, especially with absolutely no warning. So, I mean, again, it's so interesting to talk to eyewitness. So describe it for us. So the plane is landing, and then everything looked normal until just before it touched the runway?
Yeah, so from what I saw, the plane was landing just normal, like as if all the other planes were landing. You know, everything seemed like it was checked out, and you know, everything was balanced. And literally, when the plane was at the premises, like within the Pearson's fence, right? Just, I would say, my math is not the best, but I would say maybe like less than 50 feet above ground. It just, you know, tilted to the right. So the right engine was way down, and then the left engine was still kind of in the constant position. And then the next thing I knew, I questioned myself right away. Why did it tilt so much? And then the next thing I knew, within the next nanosecond, that right side of the plane is what hit the ground, the runway, and it was all fire and you know, unbelievable amount of smoke. I witnessed all of that, and you know, it took me a while I was so like out of it. I was so shocked. It took me a while to actually get my phone out and try to get everything on the video.
So I don't know how much you would have been able to actually see, given that there was smoke, and also just trying to process what you saw. But
yeah,
did you see the wing break off? Did you see the plane then just kind of slide forward, or did it catapult? I mean, how did it end up turning upside down?
Yeah, and that's a question I actually have as well. So, you know, the plane is coming from so far, right? So I always position my car in a way that I can see the planes coming like a very, very long distance. And then when they come towards the runway, I can see the whole action, right? So literally about 30 seconds of action I can see. So the whole way I saw the plane perfectly normal, perfectly like no issues whatsoever, completely balanced. And, you know, and I could not imagine that something like that would happen. And then, you know, I've been thinking all this time, it's been what, like 6 hours or so. I'm still thinking, how could it possibly like just tilt so abruptly and so sharply, literally like, you know, just feet away from touching down. And then, you know, it just like, I would say everything just happened within maybe a second. You know, it was just so quickly. And then I was just shocked. I was like, okay, that happened too quickly. And then, of course, because there was no room, and I could imagine nobody prepared for that. So, of course, there was no time to react, and the plane just landed on that side. And then all I saw was the right side of the plane, which is the right engine go on fire. So the fire I saw, and then all the smoke that followed right away. And because of the smoke, I could not actually see anything else afterwards.
Right.
So from what I saw is where the plane landed and where the final scene was, where the plane stopped. So what I could not see is did it skid down rolling
Yeah.
or flipping, or it's just too much smoke for me to just
Sure.
try to figure it out.
Yeah, as for you'll want to listen because we to the rest of the show because we have a couple of people, well, a few people with aviation expertise, including very next guest is a pilot. But before I get to him, I have one more question for you. Again, as an eyewitness, can you remember how long was it before the fire trucks got on the scene?
That is actually a very question you asked me. Sorry, a very good question you asked me. Um, that is a question that actually made me call 911. So, the incident happens. I saw the plane kind of go like this, then it, crashes, and then I just try to grab my phone, and my phone was almost about to fall down in my car floor. I was just so shocked. So, anyways, I come out of the car and I just like run towards the fence. I'm just like on Airport Road, and I'm trying to walk as far as I could, and trying to figure out what just happened. And the biggest thought I had in my mind is, I really really hope, given the impact of the accident, I really really pray that there are survivors. And that's the best thing that came out of today, is that not a single fatality. So that's settled. Thank God. So the other thing that came to my mind is, how do people, or how does anyone find out that this happened? Because the plane is now crashed. Are the communication systems working anymore? That was the second question I had. So I waited for maybe like 10, 15 seconds, and I'm thinking, you know what? Just because the plane is not functioning anymore, maybe there's no more communication. Maybe I should do something about it. So that's when I called 911, and they did tell me that, yeah, there are actually fire trucks on the way. So they basically, while I was on the phone with 911 with the operator, I did actually saw a couple of fire trucks making their way. So the operator did assure me that, yeah, they are taken care and the situation is being dealt with.
Yeah, I mean, super quick response, and there are a lot of extraordinary things that happened that probably contributed to the fact that no one was killed in this crash. Asfar Al Nasser, thank you very much for giving us that eyewitness account. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We have live coverage this hour on CBC News Network of that Delta crash at Pier